Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me know if you can hear me on the stream. I made some adjustments. Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me know if you can hear me on the stream. I made some adjustments. Sorry folks for all the issues I'm having right now with the stream. Again, I'm just trying to get things set up. I technically had the stream scheduled, or I was trying to schedule it for 12 Pacific Standard Time, and I accidentally clicked stream now, so the stream has started, so there's no going back now. For all the issues I'm having right now. So we shall see what happens. Just, trying to get things set up. I technically had the stream scheduled, or I was trying to schedule it for 12 Pacific Standard Time. Live control room. And I accidentally clicked stream now, so the stream started, so there's no going back. Samuel, if you're still there, how is the video on the stream? Is it laggy on your end or something? I'm getting like some warning that the stream is bad right now. I might have to stop the stream. Live control room. Samuel, if you're still there, how is the video on the stream? Is it laggy on your end or something? I'm getting like some warning that the stream is bad right now. I might have to stop the stream. Yeah, so if those of you that are out there watching, if you can let me know. Appreciate it. I'm getting like some warning that the stream is bad right now. I might have to stop the stream. Yeah, so if those of you that are out there watching, if you can let me know. Got 10 people now. Appreciate it. Super chat, live chat, open in a new window. Yeah, so if those of you that are out there watching, let me know if the video is laggy. Got 10 people now. Appreciate it. Super chat, live chat, open in a new window. We can hear your delayed playback. Voice is fine. We can hear your delayed playback. Rishav, when you say we can hear your delayed playback, are you hearing like an echo or something? We can hear your delayed playback. Like in the audio? Voice is fine. We can hear your delayed playback. Rishav, when you say we can hear your delayed playback, are you hearing like an echo or something? We can hear your delayed playback. Like in the audio? Voice is fine. Alright. I think what I'm gonna do, okay, so the stream seems fine now. Thanks for that, Samuel. Checking on that. Alright. I think what I'm gonna do, okay, so the stream seems fine now. Thanks for that, Samuel. Checking on that. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so there's a repeat 3 seconds later. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, testing audio, checking all my audio. Hopefully, I've got that figured out. Those of you that are on the live stream right now, hopefully it's working. I'm not sure how well it is, but I switched over. I'm using my webcam. Last time I was using my DSLR. Hopefully that problem's working out. If the audio is still having issues, let me know. Issues for the next minute, let me know. Hopefully the echo stuff goes away. Yeah, usually I'm just using my camera, but I'm going to use one of my... Repeat is gone. All right, thanks, Samuel. One moment. Webcam. Tutorial mode. Thank you again. Thanks, Lek, for verifying that for the stream. I'm just trying to get my camera connected right now. My Sony camera, but it's having some problems. This is great. I'm having all kinds of issues today. It's wonderful. Just wonderful. I do appreciate everybody that's on this stream, even though how bad it's going right now. Hopefully we will get to the content. I am also going to take some questions. If you do have any questions on the stream, I can answer them while I'm trying to get my camera set up here and figuring out why I can't get my Elgato capture card to work right now. Yeah, so feel free to throw out some questions while I get my Alpha 6500 connected. Again, not sure why it's not working. Definitely a problem I have with this camera. But I guess I'll just talk right now. Today I wanted to go ahead and discuss my experience using the 2x teleconverter. So I'm going to jump to full screen here. I was using the 2x teleconverter yesterday with the Sony 7200 G Master. And I was... my honest opinion with these teleconverters, and I have the 1.4x as well, is that they work really well. They work really well. I don't have any major issues with autofocusing speeds using the 7200 G Master with them. There is a slight there is a definite slight decrease in sharpness with them, which is what I noticed with the teleconverters. And I wanted to use a live stream to kind of go over some of the images that I took today and talk about that, and also show you, kind of go over some of the settings that I'm using on my camera for shooting some sports. Or that's sort of the goal today. Rishabh, yes, that is the 6500 that I'm holding up. It is the 6500. So I also have the small rig cage connected, and as far as what I'm trying to do, I have this connected, and I'm trying to get this set up, and I've got the capture card here, and plugging it right into the stream, but I had an issue. I was supposed to have 2 capture cards. I picked this one up, and then I picked up one from Blackmagic, because you can't use 2 Elgato capture cards like this. It won't work. So I picked up a Blackmagic Ultra Studio one, and I was trying to connect it via Thunderbolt on my laptop, but it wouldn't work. And then I tried to do it on my MacBook, and my MacBook's Thunderbolt 2 port wouldn't work and connect it. So that was another problem there. So let me go and see and try this again. Hopefully it's working now. Let's see. Why does it keep saying 1 moment, please? Sorry, folks, just trying to get this all set up here. Resolution. There we go. There we go. We are in business here. That's what I had to do, apparently, I guess. So now I've got this all set to go. Let me jump back to tutorial mode. Video capture device. And again, I appreciate all of you that are on the stream watching this mess work itself out. But I'm learning quickly with this whole live streaming stuff. I am planning to do some live tutorials soon, which I'm really interested in doing. So let's see here. Screen display. Whoa, a lot of stuff going on there. Got the webcam. Gonna add video capture device. Add existing Elgato. There we go. Have that there as well. Okay, so I've got 2 modes so far. Samuel says, I'm considering getting the converter, but still deciding between the 1.4x or 2x. Samuel, what are you planning on shooting with? Or what do you plan to shoot? What's your subject matter? As far as why you'd want to get a teleconverter. Okay. Here. All right. It's gonna be a little tough for me here. I've got I'm trying to go through here. So Samuel, you're gonna be shooting cars. Is it like race track type stuff, like car racing? Let me know. So let's see how good my computer is. I don't know if my computer is going to all of a sudden crash on me here. but just wanted to try this out and see if I can show that. Alright, so I shot with the, oh, that's the wrong title. It says I shot with the 6300. That's supposed to be the 6500. And I shot with the a7R2. And I also shot with the Canon 1D as well while I was out there. And I wanted to go ahead and show you kind of the image quality that I was getting out of these shots. Let me jump to the a7R2 really quick. I'm going to go ahead and filter out some of the images that I selected. So here's one right here. I like this one here. This was at 248 millimeters at f5.6. I did some processing on it. Let me see if I can show before and after here. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Rashad, for the feedback there. I just hope my computer doesn't crash trying to get through it. So I do have the information on there, and thanks, Rashad, for pointing it out. So you can see that this is the, and my fans are kicking up right now. So here's a before and after. Hopefully you can still hear me over the fans. But on the left-hand side, I have, if I can zoom in here without it crashing. If you take a look with the teleconverter, it is soft. It's not going to be tack sharp. But with the 2x teleconverter, there is some noticeable softness in the shot. But after processing the images, I'm still okay with it. So even with it processed, I was still happy with the results. So some of these are with the 2x teleconverter. Okay, this shot right here was at 318 millimeters, f5.6 with the 2x teleconverter on the a7R2. Let's go ahead and take a look and zoom in. So here's the shot. I was definitely shooting through the fence in this photo, but I was trying to get as close as possible. Typically, I drop my black levels down in order to get through the... So if you take a look here, you kind of have that haze that's going on. I typically will just go ahead and drop the black levels to the left and then increase my contrast slightly to kind of remove that haze that I get from the fence. And there's my before and after already. So the initial photo here, it is a little soft, but it's not too bad, in my opinion. And I'm at 318 millimeters with the teleconverter here. And just add some sharpness into this image a little bit. And that's not bad. I like that image there with that reach. Let's jump to another photo here. Here's another shot I took. I think I cropped this one, so let's take a look before it's cropped. I cropped into that. Talon says, loving the live streams lately. Keep up the good. Thanks, Talon. I really appreciate it. I'm doing my best. Just give me some feedback and I'll work around it. I know this is kind of like not planned very well, so this stream might just be complete garbage, but I just wanted to share with you this and do it live. So got a shot here, trying to steal base on second, and this is at almost 400 millimeters, so this is at the furthest reach of the lens. So if you take a look, here it is. The one on the right is the after, and if you take a look here with this image, I'm getting, it is that haziness because I'm shooting through that fence, but after processing it and adding, I do add some grain on here for artistic purposes, but it looks okay to me. I like the way that came out. All right, moving on to the next image here. Again, this is another one that's close to 400. This one is not edited, so let's go ahead and take a look. This is with the a7R2. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Here is the shot with the teleconverter. And Samuel, you're asking, all of these current images are with the a7R2 so far. The a7R2. I believe, yeah. I think, yes, these are with the a7R2 right now that we're looking at. I'll get to some with the a6500 in a little bit. So there's how the image looks. Let me go ahead and add some sharpening onto this through Lightroom and see if that helps a little bit. It helps a little bit there, but this is not bad for the amount of reach I'm able to get. All right, let's jump to the next image here. This is at 346 millimeters with the 2x teleconverter. Let's go 1:1. There is some editing on here. Let's take a look at the before on this image. So there's the image. I am going to show you some images that I took without the teleconverter, and you're going to definitely see some sharpness differences that I got, but I'm just showing you the images. Here's another one here. This is weird. Take a look. It's like, this was at 400 millimeters, but it's reading it as 396 millimeters. So I don't know. Maybe I just didn't extend it all the way out, but let's zoom in here. Here's another photo. Hopefully the stream is good enough so you can kind of see some of that here. Talon asks, did you use the dehaze tool to get rid of the fence blur? I can try it right now. If I find another image, we're going to go ahead and try out the dehaze and see if that works out. So I typically just push the black levels down. There we go. Let's try that dehaze. So here's the image. Here's one of the images, and I'm just seeing Talon's response right now with dehaze. I'm going to crank up the dehaze a little bit here. It does help. It works pretty good. I guess I should use this more often. Thanks for bringing that up, Talon. Alex Sandoval, you're asking how much was that 2x teleconverter? It was about $600 US, I believe. And is it worth it? My honest opinion about that is, if you're using the Sony FE mount, Alex, and you need the reach, that's the only option right now. So is it worth it? For me personally, I would say no, because I have access to other lenses, like for Canon. I've got my let's jump over here real quick. So let's dive out of the Lightroom really quickly here. So I typically will use this lens here, the 120 to 300, and I've got a 1.4x extender with it. So in my case, it's not worth it entirely. For me personally, I'm waiting for a 300 2.8 for Sony FE mount, okay? Once that comes out and I can afford it, or if Sigma releases a more compatible Sigma 120 to 300, I'm definitely going to go that route and get the specific FE mount. So I'm really curious to see what Sigma is going to do with that kind of thing. But right now, for me personally, it's not worth it. That's just me speaking on that. But if you need 400 millimeters, you don't have any choice right now. You don't have any choice for Sony E-mount. You're going to have to wait for that. So that's kind of my response. Sorry, I'm looking out here because that's my other screen. Dempa asked, how's the 70 to 200 focus? It's on my short list, mostly for concert photography with the a6300. Adapting via the MC11 is my second option, but I don't know if I want to deal with the baggage that comes with it. Dempa, my response for you is, if you want the absolute best results, and if you're shooting and it's on the line, you're getting paid big money, and you need to get the shot, don't mess with, don't adapt. That's my recommendation. You really want the actual lens itself. Again, I've mentioned this before, if you're going to adapt the lens, like with the Sigma MC11 adapter, anytime you have a moving subject, I don't trust the adapters as much. If I'm just doing portraits and they're not moving, I'm all for adapting the glass. But if your subject matter's moving, I can't trust it with a huge amount of confidence. I mean, I've adapted my Sigma 120 to 300 before for track and field. And I had I had issues with it, like going from like left to right across. It might work fine, like I was able to get some good shots, but if they're coming towards you like this, the first frame might be good, but the subsequent frames after that, if you're holding the shutter down, will be out of focus. So it's kind of a mixed thing. And right now, let's see here. And Dempa, the Sigma MC11, there isn't a Sigma 7200 sports series lens yet, like an updated one. I don't know if they're ever going to do that. So it would not be wise to I guess what I'm trying to say is that you want the best compatibility with the newer Sigma lenses with the MC11 adapter. You'll still get some good results, like decent results with like the Canon. If you're going to mount a Canon EF lens on the Sigma MC11 with the updated firmware they pushed out, it works pretty good. Talon asks, Kangna, with Sigmas, do you just get the Canon EF mount and use the MC11 adapter? With Sigmas, do you get the... Yes, Talon, that's a good question. I think you're talking about, do I get maybe for example, like an E-mount lens or something like that? I think we're talking about that. Do you just get the Canon EF mount and use the MC11 adapter? Yes, that's what I typically will do with that. Oh, and by the way, if you're on the stream and you kind of like the stream, if you could give it a thumbs up to get some more visibility, I'd appreciate it. I would appreciate it for all you guys that are out there right now. So I'm going to continue on. Just go ahead and throw some questions on the chat, and I'll try to answer them. But we're going to go and take a look at some more sample images as we go through. And by the way, I will try to do some show notes after the video stream. It might not happen right away, but I will try to do some show notes for those of you that might be watching this after. I will try to have some show notes to kind of direct you where to go. So let's go ahead and take a look at another image here. So I went ahead and got this one here. This again with the a7R2. You got a little bit of that haze coming from the fence, some softness, but let's go ahead and use the dehaze feature. Get some of that contrast back into the image. And we're going 1:1 right now. Add some sharpening onto this image as well. And that doesn't look that bad at all. And by the way, that's pretty far from where I'm at. And they have to keep me outside of the fencing area. Usually I can get inside of the dugout. But I almost got hit. Actually, my camera got hit by a baseball while I was in dugout. The umpire yelled at me. And they told me to leave. It happened. I didn't get hurt. It just hit the camera. It actually hit the HDMI. I was actually doing some stuff with the Atomos Ninja, and it hit the camera or the HDMI cable. Let's put some dehaze there, and add some sharpening onto this here. All right, let's keep going through. Here's another example with that haze that's coming up from the fence. Let's go ahead and use the dehaze feature real quick. It helped a little bit. There's still some haze in the shot. Push it a little more. See, I don't want to do it too much. It tends to do some weird stuff. Let me go ahead and push the black levels down. Some clarity on there. And that's looking better, I would say. So that's definitely helping. All right. Let's take a look here with this shot. This one has already been edited. Let's go and take a look at the before. This one's actually pretty good. If you take a look here, the one on the left, this is out of the camera. If you take a look at this example here. All right, so the left-hand photo looks pretty sharp. That looks pretty good with the extender. And then I just went ahead and edited the image. And then I got this photo right here. You might not like my editing, but that's just kind of how I felt about editing the image. Let's take a look here. I snapped some photos of some shoes to kind of get in there and look at the detail. Let's go and take a look at the before. This is again with the a7R2 if you're just jumping onto the stream. And let's take a look at the image here. So that's pretty sharp. I can see some good detail there. It's just it got that little bit of haze shooting through the fence. And by the way, this shot was really cool because, let me jump back to my full screen here. Hopefully I can buy a switcher someday. But what I ended up doing was when I was shooting, what's really good, I sat on the floor and I was just using the back of the screen on the Sony camera, which was like this. I sat on the floor and I just positioned this up. It was still hard to see, but I could frame the shot. Again, another cool advantage with some of these cameras with flip out screens. So I just wish Canon would have done a better job of implementing that more in their full frame cameras. But here it is. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of dehaze onto this image here. Again, feel free to drop some questions in there. Okay, that's doing some stuff there. Okay, dehaze, liking it. Liking that color it's coming out. Let me go ahead and jump back to my window here. There you go. So I went ahead and added some dehaze here, and it's looking a lot better. Those colors are really popping out on the image. All right, here's another one, and then we're going to jump to the 6500 examples. So we got this. This is with the editing. I'm going to go back out a little bit, take a look at the photo on the left. That is the before. So we're at 1:1 here. I zoom out a little bit on that. Nope. So here's the image. Just at 346 millimeters. The shoe shot, Rishabh, that is 300. That's, again, I don't know why it's stuck at 396. That is a 400 millimeter shot with the a7R2. That's the a7R2. All right, so we're back to this one right here. So it is that softness could be coming a little bit from the lens and a little bit from the fencing. But man, I love the results. The results look really good, especially with the a7R2. You take a look at that shot. I really like you still get some compression in that shallow depth of field. You're not going to get the same kind of compression from like a 300 millimeter lens. And I'm going to go ahead and show those examples later. Let's take a look here. Here's another shot. This is at 252 millimeters with the 2x teleconverter on the a7R2. Let's get a full frame. This grain that you're seeing, I don't know if you're seeing in the stream or not. That's something I added. It wouldn't be there if I didn't add that. Let me show you before. Here's a shot before. It looks pretty sharp here. Doesn't look too bad at all. That's my opinion, though. I'd be happy with these results. Another one here. All right, another example. This one a little soft. I don't know. These could be slightly out of focus. I don't know. Let's go into the questions right now as I see them. Dempa says, I think they have two versions of the MC11. Is the EF-to-E, and there's another one for Sigma's own mount to F. Huh. I did not know that, Dempa. I think you're right, though. From what I remember. Alex asked, do you have a drone? If not, are you interested in buying one for video and photography? Alex, I almost bought the Mavic Pro, and I'm still interested in buying the Mavic Pro from like B&H or something. But it's been on pre-order, kind of. So I'm not jumping right away to want to get a drone right now. It's not a huge need for me at this moment. SPDTL. Hey man, sorry, unrelated question. Watching from the shopping mall, going to an indoor electronics show, taking a7R2. Should I use the 55 1.8 or the 7200 will be good enough for show condition lights? Man, I love prime lenses. I would go with the 55 to 1.8. That's just my opinion. SPDTDL if you're still there. Yeah, that's what I would go with. Dempa to E. Okay, thanks for that. Helen. Samuel asks, do you use a color profile Adobe standard or do you change it in Lightroom? Man, I don't know, man. Sam, I just use whatever's there. I just use whatever's standard with the color profile. It says Adobe standards, the profile inside of Lightroom right now. I think my picture's blocking it, but I have it set to Adobe standard or something like that. Alex Sandoval, another question he asked, have you ever used the Rotolight Neo? No. I've seen Jason use it in person, but I have not used it. I mean Jason Lanier. I have not used it myself. They're interesting lights though. Alright, let's go ahead and jump to some Alpha 6500 images with the teleconverter. I don't think I picked a lot from these are supposed to be 6500 shots there. Let's go ahead and look at the ones I marked with the 1 star at least. And go from there. Let's see here. Man, I don't know. I don't know if these are just not nailing focus or what. But you can see some softness in there with, this is with the Alpha 6500. So now we're on the Alpha 6500. And we're looking at some sample images here that I took. Unless I'm just not nailing the focus. But I can definitely see some chromatic aberration, I think. And it's some softness, some definite softness in the images here. Okay, let's look at this one. It's at 400 millimeters now. 400 millimeters. This one's not as bad. You can see their clothing. It's definitely not looking as sharp as the other ones. This one's not bad. This is at 400 millimeters. Again, we're on the 6500 here. Let's go ahead and edit this a little bit. Let's dehaze it. Too much for my tastes. Add some sharpening. Maybe bring up shadows a little bit. Exposure, contrast. Goes down. That's not looking too bad. That's like a headshot right there. Rishabh, you're asking if the focal length will change 3 times, right? With the teleconverter on the 6500, the equipment focal length will be 3 times. Not quite. Not quite. Do I have a calculator here? You might be right. I take that back. Let me see. So you have let's say you have the 200 millimeter lens, and then you're gonna multiply it by that 1.5 crop factor on the camera. You're right. Whoa, that's wrong. That's the wrong math there. 200 times the 2 teleconverter already times the 1.5 on the camera. Yeah, you are. 600 millimeters. 600 millimeters. So you are right, Rashad. Well, the effective reach is kind of like a 600 mil, but that's unless you want to get into all that stuff there, which I don't want to get into too much. Let me see if I can jump to my camera view here. There we go. Let's see. All right, so we are in tutorial mode. I'm looking at that question with as far as what I set up on my camera. Let's take a look. I was using my drive mode. So my drive mode I usually just go with the H plus, man. I just go all for that. I do have there is a slight lag, but it's not bad. I'm on autofocus continuous when I'm shooting, and my focus area is lock on AF center. That's what I go with. I do mess with these other ones occasionally. Like I can jump to these other modes. But what I end up doing is I just stick to the center point and it tracks the subject that way. So I might lose the feed right now. Let's see. Hopefully not. So I have like a water bottle right here. Will it show the focus points? Let's see. There we go. So what I'll do is, well, if I'm shooting, so imagine the water bottle was a baseball player. I'll hold the shutter button halfway, and then I'll reframe my shot, and then take a picture. That's kind of how I approach it. So I'll set it up, I'll focus in the center, and then just usually the system does an incredible job of keeping track of the subject, just like this. So that's how I set that up. And auto white balance, I gotta get the white balance down on the Sony cameras, man. I don't really, especially with the 6500, I'm not like incredibly, doesn't look too pleasing to me. Seems off a little bit. Smile and face attack, I try this on and off, so sometimes I'll have this on and I'll try it off. It didn't do a really good job. I guess the hat, their helmets or whatever was kind of getting in the way, but it kind of worked a little bit. Talon, alright, I'll see you later, man. And I'll shoot raw with the Alpha 6500. And these are my other settings there. So those are kind of the key settings that I use on my camera when I'm shooting. And then settings wise, I'll try to shoot at least at 1000 shutter speed. Paul says, I've just bought a Sony 70-400 G lens today. I'm assuming that's the A-mount. I haven't used it yet on the a7R II. With the LAE3 adapter, I'm just wondering if you have used this lens. Yeah, again, Paul, sorry about that. I have not used that lens. I wish I could give you a good answer for that. I just have not used that lens before. If I ever do, I will definitely try it out and I'll definitely try it out and put a video together, answer that question again later on. All right, let's go and take a look at some more sample images with the 6500. Here's another one here. And this one, let's take a look at before. So what I'm noticing, here's another one here. This one hasn't been edited yet. So here's another one here. Slight softness, let's go ahead and dehaze, sorry. I need to go ahead and change my view. I apologize for that. Still getting the hang of this. All right, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and dehaze this. And then let's go ahead and I'm going to bump up the brightness a little bit, contrast, black levels, add a little clarity, and increase the sharpness on the image. And I would be happy with this kind of shot. I don't know about you, but I would be. This wouldn't bother me at all. It definitely does not have the same kind of sharpness you'd expect without the teleconverter. So let's go ahead and jump to some images that don't have the teleconverter in it. Let me go ahead and see if I can find some. So I did shoot some images without the teleconverter, so we can kind of see the sharpness that's coming out of a lens without it. Okay, this is without the teleconverter. Let's see, did I hit focus here? So this is without the teleconverter. Let's take a look and see how good it looks. And without the teleconverter, the 7200 is really sharp. Like this shot right here is really sharp with just the without the teleconverter itself. Let me increase the sharpening a little bit here. And that's really tack sharp right there with the 7200 G Master. No teleconverter. So here's the 7200. And then if we go to some of the earlier images, and we take a look, I guess. I don't know if that's going to work well. But we've already seen some examples early on, and the images don't look as sharp. So obviously without the teleconverter, so here's one with the teleconverter, you can definitely notice that softness in the shot. Without it, it looks a lot better. But I'm still happy with the results that I'm getting with the teleconverter. Let's take a look. SPDTDL. Yeah, I'm still here. Thanks for your answer. I'm in the market for a gimbal, crane beholder, or something else. Make general YouTube vids. Making general. Okay. Nice. I'm just not sure. I think the Giant crane's a really popular one, but I don't have it. Alex asked, what lens do you think is better for portrait photography? The 35 1.8, the 50? I would go with the 50 at that point. As far as sharpness, the only reason why I would opt for the 50 because I like the more telephoto lens for portraits. As far as sharpness, I can't really say specifically. I think optically the 35 is pretty good, but the 50 is okay too. But yeah, I just go with the 50. Maybe get the 85 instead. If you can get the cash for it, Alex. So you do, Alex, you already had the 50 already? I mean, that's not bad already. Check out Alex's Instagram. Rashad asked, are you into making films? Not really. Not really. Just every now and again. Samuel says, quite the sharpness to increase with the converter. Yeah, you can definitely see some significant differences there. So I'm going to go ahead, and I know this entire live stream here, and again, I really do appreciate everyone that's on this live stream that's made it this far. Let's go ahead and take a look at some examples using the Canon 1D series camera and using the 300 millimeter, the 120 to 300. Take a look at some of those samples. So you can kind of see the difference, and the reason why, and this is kind of a discussion as to why I still use my Canon Gear. If we can take a look at some of these here. So this is with the Canon 1D. I think I missed the head here. But with that 120 to 300, you still get a lot of compression and shallow depth of field in these shots. And it's really sharp in my opinion. I'm not saying that's your opinion. It's just my opinion there. So we're looking at examples with the 120 to 300. So the 120 to 300 with the Canon 1DC. So yeah, so I kind of want to lead off discussion before I end the stream is just kind of talk about my experience shooting with the Alpha 6500 and the Canon system. I don't know how about you guys that are still on the stream or watching this after. Would I completely go over to Sony And why am I still using my Canon gear? Why am I still using my Canon equipment? So that is kind of the thing I want to talk about a little bit before we end the stream soon. So let's go ahead and jump to the questions really quick. See if anything new. I really do like the fact that we're getting that 85. Have you tried the Zoom H5? Looking for a solution to record an interview, budget around $300. I haven't tried the Zoom H5. I was considering actually getting it SP-DT-DL. I just have the good old Zoom H4n, and I got some Zoom H1s. So those have been, they're okay. They're not bad at all. But I hear the Zoom H5 is pretty good, though. So again, the last one of the main things I want to mention is I'm still shooting with my 1D because it's the Canon cameras. One, because I have the lens option choice for it. Right, I have the lens choice. I still have my 120 to 300. Sony, I'm really just waiting for kind of their 1D competitor. They're basically their flagship competitor, their A9. I mean, just honestly, it's just a joy to use. It's still, when I was comparing, so for example, I'm shooting with the 6500, and then I stopped using it and I jumped to a Canon camera. The responsiveness and the handling on using a Canon camera for this, it's just still a much more enjoyable experience overall. There are some benefits to using Sony, which is like the flip screen that's kind of peels out, the EVF, but overall, just in general, the enjoyment of shooting, I still prefer a Canon camera at this time. So that's the reason why I still have my Canon equipment. I just can't get rid of it at this moment. But I am waiting and hoping that Sony will eventually pull out an A9 and some better telephoto lenses that are up on their pipeline. But that is kind of my opinion on the matter. As far as the teleconverters, you've seen some of the examples in the stream already. For me personally, I'm okay with the teleconverters, but there's no replacement for a 300-2.8 or a 400-2.8 with it. And I think that's the area that Sony really needs to attack, is once they're able to get some of those cameras out. I know some people will probably say, hey, why don't you consider jumping towards like the A99 Mark II? I don't know. I don't know what the vibe is. I feel like the A99 Mark II is a really great camera from the specs that it has and what some people have reviewed it on. But I don't know if you get the vibe or not, but it feels like Sony is kind of leaving the A99 system, the E-mount system behind. Is that a fair assessment? I'm not sure. Sony 85 may be as sharp as the Batis. Yeah, I think I saw Jason Lanier's samples with that, Sam. It'll be really great if it is. I have tried the Canon 80D, Rishav. I sold it, but it's a good camera. Rishav says, legend says the A9 will cost kidneys. I agree. And I mentioned this last time, if it's around the same price as the a7R2, I will definitely pick it up. So SPDTL, yes, I do. All right, I'll just call you Steve. You know, the a7 III, you know what, Sam? That's a really great perspective. I really think they should make the a7 III a sports camera. If, for example, they don't do an A9, but they made the a7 III the sports series camera, that'd be really cool. So it'd be the a7 III is kind of like an all-purpose Swiss Army, well, sort of like a Swiss Army knife, but with fast frames per second. The R series is still the resolution, and the S series is for their high ISO sensitivity. That crossed my mind before. I wish they would. That would be a really interesting perspective to do. Hammy says, "Hey Hammy, thanks for joining the stream. I think a $600 sports tele zoom lens for APS-C would be my new favorite. My new love. man, I just don't think that's gonna happen with Sony E-mount, man. It's just so expensive. I'd be really interested in something like that, but all their glass, especially their 70 to 300 is like what, $1,200 or so. There's been some price drops on it, but it's still kind of expensive. Hammy, what kind of lens would you like though? Just wondering. What kind of zoom lens or zoom range do you want to see? As an example. Or anybody else that's still out there watching this stream on the internet. And again, those of you that's jumping into the stream right now, I will try and do some show notes as best as I can for this. You can kind of jump around, but this was kind of my first. This was really just my first shot at trying to do a live stream with some discussion, talking about some of the images. I don't know how well it came across in the video feed. If not, then it didn't do such a good job. But again, my conclusion with the extender is the 2x extender is good if you need the reach, but you definitely lose some sharpness to it. I don't know if maybe it's better off just shooting without the teleconverter and just cropping into the image. I don't know what's going to be better or not, but I definitely do like the reach that you get with the 200 with the 2x teleconverter. Hammy wants a 70 to 200. Samuel, I hope the next gen FE cameras have dual memory cards. I agree. I think it's about time. I mean, I have personally never had a camera corrupt. Now I take that back. I take that back. Back in the computer bake, back then when I was shooting RAW, I had those computer bake cards corrupt, and I think I've had a Transcend, but those were CF. I had a CF card corrupt on me. Yeah, a 200, 400 would be amazing, but I don't know if it'd be in my budget. Rashav said, I think the A9 will be out to compete with the 1D series and the D5 series, so the price will be much more than the a7R2. I think so. You know, Rashav, I was thinking that too, that the price would be there. But you know what? The A99 Mark II is kind of what we wanted, but they priced it pretty competitively. You know what I mean, Rashav? The the Sony A999 Mark II was still around the same price as the A7R Mark II. And I think if Sony really wants to compete, I think if they sold it at around that same price, they would start making people reconsider. It's just the only problem is that there's just no telephoto glass for the people that use the 1D series type cameras. So once the glass starts coming around, I think that's going to be very interesting. Let's see here. Up on Sony Alpha rumors, which is really interesting, was the talk about Sigma making some FE lenses specifically. So I'm really curious about what they're up to on that. Let's see. What's your guys' thoughts on this 135 f2.8 Batis lens? Would you rather get this or the Sigma? So if I had, like, for me, if I had to choose, I would honestly get the Sigma. This should be a faster lens. An f2.8 Batis 135. There's got to be something amazing about that. I don't know. Here's that post from Jason Lanier. 85 1.8. What else? New Sigma. Yeah, I think the lens from Sigma recently is that 135 f1.8 that's really piqued my interest. Let's jump back to the stream. How would the a7R III still fit in the line with the A9? I think the A9 will not be high resolution, right? That's what I was thinking was going to happen. The A9 was not going to be a high resolution camera. But They could. I have no idea because the Sony A99 Mark II is 42 megapixels. So unless the a7Rii is like some massive 80 to 100 megapixel camera. So Dempa says, trusted sources say A9 will have dual XQD. I really don't want to have to buy XQD cards, but I will buy it if it's worth it. Hammy, I hope for the Alpha 6900 will be equipped with some 4K 60p and some other features to make this series perfect. I agree. If that next one has 60p, I think they could. I mean, I'm sure Sony can do it, but they're definitely still going to have that overheating problem, which is still very possible. Dempa says, if I have to go with a manual 135, the Samyang 135-2 is just amazing and costs peanuts. Sam says he would go, the Art 135 1.8 would be better. See, I would agree. I think if once it's available for purchase, I think I'm going to pick up the 135 1.8 Sigma. I think I'm going to pick one up. Alex Sandoval says it's going to cost an arm and a leg, though. Are we talking about the lenses still or the A9? High Quality Edit says, please test the 6500 with the 18 to 105. High Quality Edits, what do you want to know about it? Like, is it just for video, or do you mean like image sharpness? Because for video, it's great. Oops, the light turned on. For video, it's great, but for photos, I haven't really tested it out a whole lot to check the sharpness. Rashab says the 6900 will be perfect anyway, if you know what I mean. We always have something to complain about. Alex Sandoval, are you saying you're going to go with the Batis 135? Why, Alex? Why the f2.8? High quality edits for video. Yeah, the 18 to 105 is a good general video zoom lens for that camera system, high quality edits. I think it's a good, if you're going to stick with like a 6500 or 6300 kind of deal, that 18 to 105 is just a really good lens to have in your bag if you're doing video. You just don't get that creative edge with the shallow depth of field control with it. But if you need reach, you got it. And you can also turn on clear image zoom, and you can get more reach out of that. And to answer your thing about pictures, I just haven't really tested it for pictures, so I can't really comment on it. But I think it's I'll have to get around testing it. Hammy says, if they put 4K 60p with overheating, all the lower resolutions and frames per second would never overheat. See, I would assume that it would be better, right? So if 4K 60p records pretty good, then maybe 4K at 24 or 4K at 30 wouldn't overheat as easily. That's what I would see. But what's funny is that the Sony cameras, well, with the exception of the 6500, I haven't had it overheat with the extended temperature enacted or added. Rithy says f2.8 is off-putting unless it's really light. Yeah, I'm thinking that 135 is going to be similar in weight to like the Batis 85. That's what I'm thinking. Samuel Anderson, there are now perfect tech. There are now perfect tech. There's no perfect tech. That's a unicorn. I agree. Dempa says, good all-around lens. Suits the bill with the lens, both on video and photos. Done a lot of photo work with the 18105. So Dempa answers the question. Thank you, Dempa, for putting down your feedback there. I appreciate it, for answering high-quality edits question. Thank you so much. Rashab asked, do you or have you ever used Nikon Glass on your Sony cameras? No, I have not. I have not used Nikon Glass. I have access to Nikon Glass, but I would have to buy that adapter. And I think when Jason Lanier had reviewed it, and also Eric Rossi when they had that issue, but they said the adapter, I forgot the company's name, but the adapter had issues because of the macro lens. I think the macro lens killed their camera. I don't know what it was, let me know. But I will test it out if I ever get to it. Because I am curious on how well it performs with the Nikon lenses myself. High quality edits asks, how much do you think the A7S2 price will go when the A7S3 comes out? High quality edits, where are you from? Like what area are you from? Are you in the US? I think the lowest price that you'll see it go right now. Let's see here. I'm on eBay right now. This is where I typically find my stuff. Check this out. Check this out. Let's see if I can find it. Is it still here? Look at this. The Sony A7R2 is going for $23.99. $23.99 US dollars right now. I've seen the A7S2 go for $22.99. And by the way, these are gray market, so you got to take that into consideration. But $23.99 for a $3,000+ camera at this point, very, very different. I would say that you'll probably start seeing prices dip to, I don't know, under $2,000 US, but it won't be immediate though. But I don't think it's gonna be soon, fortunately. Cosina just announced 3 new lenses for Sony E-mount. What's your take? They are fully manual lenses. Alex, I personally don't use very many like manual lenses in general, so I'm not the best person. So I guess my personal opinion on it is I don't have one. Let me go ahead and take a look at that right now. Cosina announces development of 3 Voigtlander E-mount lenses. Here we go. We're on DP review. So it looks. Oh, these are just. They just announced. Yeah, Alex, I just don't use full manual focus lenses. I do manually focus, but I'm just not. I want autofocusing, the ability for it to autofocus. I want that lens to be able to do that too because I hybrid shoot a lot. So I want my lens to do both. I want it to autofocus and I want it to manually focus. I'd rather drop the money on a lens that does both. The dog photographer asks, do you think the next E-mount full frame will compete with the likes of the 1DX Mark II? It needs to, dog photographer. It absolutely needs to. But I still think that I really think that Sony will get close to competing with like a 1D or a 5D or a Nikon D5 series camera, but it's the lenses that are the problem for people. They just don't have the lenses. But I think they're gonna get there. That's what I think is gonna happen. But I think the next the A9, if it does come out, is gonna be close to it. I think the Sony A99 Mark II is more on the indicative of what you'll see with this A9. That's what I'm saying. High quality edits. He's in the Middle East. Hey, what's the time there right now? High quality edits. Where you're at right now. Just wondering. Steve says, "What's your favorite lens that you own right now? What's on your A7R2 more often than not?" Good question, Steve. When I shoot sports, I definitely have the 70-200 G Master on it. If I'm just shooting around and I just need to get some photos, I've got right here. I've got the 55 Zeiss right here. I like having the Zeiss 55 on my Batis. So sports, 70-200 G Master. If I'm doing just general stuff, I'll put the Zeiss 55 on there. Samuel from Norway, 9:30 p.m. right there right now. Nice. It's 12:30 p.m. here in California right now. Cosina makes most Zeiss lenses. The Batis, Dempa says. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Rishav, yes, I'm in California. Rishav, Central Valley area. High quality edits. The A7S price, A7S2 price is so high. So should I wait for the a7S III? Because I think the a7S II price will get lower when the a7S III comes out. 11:30 p.m. where you're at. Wow. High quality edits. I don't know. You got that really difficult question you got to answer for yourself. Is do you need it right now? I think that's the big question right now. Is do you need it? Do you need it right now? If you need it right now, get the camera. If you don't need it right now, then you can probably manage without it. So I'm not sure. What do you focus on over there? High quality edits. 8:30 p.m. right now in England. Again, if you are enjoying this stream, sort of, I'd appreciate if you can give it a like, and help me out with the video. If it's going horribly wrong, you can also give it a thumbs down. It's okay, whatever you want. A thumbs up or a thumbs down. Rashab says the price drop won't be significant, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I really think the A7S II and the A7R2 are pretty solid cameras, and I don't think they're gonna drop the price on those two too quickly. I mean, they're already dropping price on the gray market area, but just like a regular retail price, I think they're still gonna really hold their value. That's just kind of what I'm thinking right now. Steve says, "See, I got all the G Masters." Dang, Steve, you got all the G Master lenses? I am jealous of you, Steve. I'm really thinking about getting a 2470 G Master because I have like the old 24 to 70 Canon, the first one, the 2470 f2.8. I bought it like 5 years ago or so. But I'm really itching for that 24 to 70. I'm waiting for that A9, man. I need to see Sony drop a solid, like the 6500 is pretty good, but they need to drop like a really solid camera that kind of cleans up some of those overheating problems, so I can be comfortable in knowing I'm making the right investment. Because right now I would consider looking at the 24 to 70 Sigma lens actually instead of the G Master, but that's just my opinion personally. But it's a tough one to call right now for me. High quality edits. Right now I'm focusing on the a6500. Got it. Samuel says, I hope Sony cameras will be faster to boot up from power off to ready to shoot. I agree, Samuel. I 100% agree. So get this, guys. Let me jump to track and field. I was shooting some track and field photos. So I got a little funny story for you. So let's see. I'm on track and field here. Let me, I shot this, on Tuesday? Might be Wednesday. So get this. I went to go to shoot some track and field. I drive out there. It wasn't too bad of a drive. Maybe like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I get there. I'm trying to find parking at this high school. By the way, this was McFarland High School. This is the school that was part of that movie, McFarland. And I go there. I get there right away, and a race is just starting. And I'm like, great, I got my a6500, I'm snapping some photos. This is with the 1.4x teleconverter, so I guess we could take a look at that. So I got the 1.4x teleconverter. I got the 1.4x teleconverter, I'm getting shooting, the race finishes, and once the race finishes, it was over. Like, the event was over, so I basically only saw one relay race, and that was it. And you know what's really frustrating? And it was going back to that question that, let's see here. Sam asked, the boot up speed. The race, I just get there. I'm getting my stuff out of my bag. The race starts. I'm like scrambling to get everything on. I turn it on. It's taking forever to boot up. The race goes, and I've already missed like the opening runners. And I was like, are you kidding me, Sony? Get your act together. Get that load up speed moving faster. I would appreciate it, Sony, if you could do that. Here's one shot I got that I really like. This was with the 1.4x extender on the 6500. But I can definitely kind of tell slight softness in those images a little bit here. Let's see. Man, that's out of focus. .4x extender, Sony Alpha 6500 we're looking at right now. I don't know. Maybe I didn't hit focus. Maybe the focus hit his hand or something. But slight softness on there. But not as bad as a 2x teleconverter for sure. This is what the a7Rii over here with the zeiss 55. Alright, let me jump back to the stream here. Nick Seddon says, I am personally waiting for an E-mount version of the A99 Mark II, high FPS, and hopefully an Alpha 6500 subwoofer. I shoot wildlife for hobby. Nick Seddon, I agree with you 100%. That's exactly what I'm waiting for. And like I said before in my last stream, I don't care if it's a slightly larger body. I'm all for that. Dumpo, great points there about that video from Camera Store TV. Dog Photographer, I'm guessing you have already spoken about the budget 85 E-mount lens. How surprised were you watching Jason's video comparing it to the Batis? I couldn't see a difference. Why would Sony do that? I actually haven't seen the video. I just saw like the sample images that were shown from like his Instagram or something. Dog Photographer. Why would they do that? They have a lot of 85 lenses, I guess. The Batis, well, the difference is the Batis has OS. It has stabilization. The other one does not. The FE mount version. Now, most of their cameras already have stabilization built in, so it's not a big deal. But, you know, maybe you're paying for the optical stabilization and the zeiss branding. That's what I'm thinking is going on. Rithi says the Sony 85 has some chromatic aberration that the Batis doesn't have. Thanks for that. How much is the fastest shutter speed on the Alpha 6500? 1/4000. I don't know why it is only at 1/4000. Rishav says, what is your general genre of photography or sports? What is your general genre of photography? I mean, I'm open to shooting whatever. Events, sports, portraits. I tried some headshots today. Or tried to. Let's see. Yeah, I did some of that today. Samuel Anderson, larger bodies, no problem. E-mount Pro cameras must be no compromise. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Samuel, if I'm going to pay big money. Steve says, there's an epic 2470 G Master thread on Fred Miranda. Loads of really good test shots, comparison shots against primes, and I made a chart display sharpness aperture worth a read. I'll look into that, Steve, maybe. But I've seen the results on that lens. It's really sharp. I really do like it. I really do like it. Because right now, honestly, Steve, my biggest thing with the 2470 G Master is The 2470 G Master is going for... It's going for like... What is it? 20... Man, I'll just pull it up right now since we're on the internet here for BH Photo. The 2470... Oh man, what the heck? The 2470 GM is going for $2,200 US. And the Canon, I'm actually able to pick up the Canon 24 to 70 for $1,300, $1,399. It's really tough call for me. I would like to see this 2470 price dip a little bit lower. That's what's really tough for me about the 2470 G Master. Doc Photographer asking for some sample images. Riffy, can you provide some sample images? Let's see here. Yeah, honestly, that's thing. The one I'm interested for is the 16 to 35 G Master. But so Sam, the 2470 was worth the price. Man, stop making me buy more stuff, Sam. Man. See, for me again, Sam, I will definitely consider the 2470 G Master. I'm just curious about that A9 business. Once that A9 rolls around, that's gonna really pique my interest. So I'm really waiting for what they do with that. Oh snap! I did not know that about the Pro support. Steve says if you're planning on going down the Sony Pro support route, remember Sony is covered, but stuff like Batis, Sigma isn't. In a way, it's a great idea from Sony as they have you buying G Masters. And I still haven't signed up for Sony Pro support. I have plenty of Sony gear to do that already at this point. Nick Sedan says Sigma is doing us all huge favors, producing excellent lenses. We can convert what the MC11 is possibly making Sony release more wider consumable portable lenses, but I could be wrong. Nick, I think honestly, Sigma is just crushing it. I really think they do. They're really making other manufacturers look at their situation. And like I said, if you're kind of in the Canon camp, it's really great for folks that are like in Canon and want to try out a Sony body. So for example, I would invest in buying Sigma lenses, the Sigma 35, the Sigma 2470, or whatever it happens to be, their new series of lenses, and then go down the adapting route to try out like a 6500 or an a7R2 until you can fully commit to jumping to Sony. I don't know, that's just how I see it. Alex says you should do a what's in your camera bag video. Which bag, Alex? Which bag? Sorry, the lights are going off right now. Which bag? I have a Canon bag. I have a Canon bag with me, and I have a Sony bag with me right now. Let's see here. Let me go. Right now with my Canon bag, I've got my Canon 1D-C, 5D Mark IV. I've got my Sigma 120-300 in there. 85 Sigma, 1740, 35 Sigma. And Alex, I do have a Sony E-mount. What's in your camera bag video? Rashab Bramrolio says Sigma has an 85 1.4 for around $300. Complete manual lens though. What the heck? There's such a thing? Oh, Samyang. Okay. Steve says, sure you. Where are you located? I'm located in Central California. Central California. Shades asks, do you use center lock-on AF with your Sony cameras? Let's see, did the battery die already on this? To answer your question, Shades, I do. I think I do. Let me see. Let me see if it will show up here or not. There it is. There it is on the stream. I use this mode right here, Shades, lock on AF center. That's what I'm using right now. Lock on AF center is what I stick with. And I mentioned this earlier, I just kind of point at my subject. So let's say that is a person, and then I just hold the shutter button halfway, and I can re-maneuver and frame my shot, and then take a picture. So I use center lock on AF. I tend to prefer this over the single shot mode. I think there were some people complaining about the fact that, you know, their camera's not focusing well, or they're saying the autofocus isn't as good. And I was in the same camp too, until the reality is you got to change how you shoot with the Sony E-mount cameras. You just can't shoot like you used to shoot with the Canon, like a DSLR. It just doesn't work that way. Alex says, I'm not too far from you. I'm in Oxnard, California. Is Oxnard like north in California or south? I don't know. I think I've passed through that area before. Rishav says, have ever tried Samyang? I have not. I've had a Rokinon 8mm fisheye lens, because they're kind of related, Samyang and Rokinon. Dog photographer, like Nick, I'm waiting for the next E-mount version of the A99 Mark II, but having to purchase the A99 Mark II until it comes out. Typically, how long, once they have announced something, do they release it? I don't know, maybe within a month, dog photographer? I think Sony is not bad when it comes to announcement and then pre-order. They haven't been too bad, honestly. High quality edit says, so the 18105 isn't that good for taking pics? Well, you're not going to get like prime lens quality out of it, high quality edits. If that's what you're looking for. I don't know, because looking at your username called high quality edits, I'm guessing you really want the high quality stuff. You're definitely going to have to pay a premium if you want the high quality stuff there. Dog photographer says, I'm tired of waiting. Yes, I am. I'm tired of waiting. Tired of waiting, Sony. Sony, do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. Steve says, you have 10,000 subs now. Did you find one particular video that brought you loads of new subs, or has it been a gradual increase week by week? I've been going a year and got 500. Don't know if that's good. Interesting question, Steve. The way I approached it was, what really helped was when I was producing videos more consistently, and also when I did that daily video thing. See, that one time, like the month of January, when I was doing that daily video, what ends up happening is the YouTube metrics will push videos out when you're producing daily content, and also your channel watch time minutes. My channel watch time minutes were going up. I also did that Sony a6000 tutorial and the Alpha 6500 tutorial. Because they were longer form videos, my channel minutes grew substantially, and it actually helped my channel grow a lot faster. So having longer form videos that people want to watch actually help with that metric in YouTube algorithm. And then I had the Panasonic GH5, that ridiculous video I did that was kind of out there. That went viral. It got picked up everywhere. It was featured a lot, and that helped me pick up new subscribers. But really, it's more like the daily grind of just producing content on a daily basis that got me to where I am right now. Like I said before, I've done a channel that's had like 50,000 plus subscribers, but I don't produce any more content for it. It's kind of a dead channel at this point. But I kind of know what I need to do. It's the issue of just doing it to help build the channel. And I really, really wanted to stick with the whole daily content stuff, but still put some quality content out there for viewers. I just couldn't manage it with my schedule. SB and Steve again. I don't know. There's like websites like vidIQ that you might want to check out. that actually helps you with also your keywords and descriptions and setting up your videos so you can maximize the search results for your videos as well. And yeah, that's just some suggestions if you're trying to do it. But I can do a whole video on just talking about strategies for improving that. Alex says, if you guys want to see the Sony A992 can do, subscribe to Douglas Rodin on YouTube, photographer from Chicago who puts out quality A99 videos. Shade says, what's your impression on Leica cameras, for example, the SL? It's too expensive, man. I would be down to get something like that. I just don't have that kind of cash. Actually, I wouldn't even buy it, man. The SL, it's more of that camera that you buy because you just have loads of cash. I don't know. I'm not at that point. I'm not at that point at all. So for me, it's a no. Man, all these are out of focus. What the heck? 6500. What's wrong with you? Anyway, let's jump back to some baseball. Yes. Dempa says, I think Samyang, Rokinon, and Bauer are the same, just different badges. I agree with that. Rashab says, I have 3% battery on my... Alex says, I'm along the 101 freeway, 1 hour north of LA and 30 minutes south of Santa Barbara. Okay. I have a general idea now. Thanks, Alex. High quality edits. Is my username that good? Yeah, it is. Nick Sedan says, have you heard that Nikon are pruning down their DSLR range, implying their investment in development in mirrorless? That's got to be a good thing. Only Canon left then. Man, I have not heard that. Was that on Nikon rumors or something? But you know what I would like to see? If, here's a crazy idea. Let me know what you guys think. Because I still have my Canon stuff. I don't know how you guys are right now with your equipment. But I would be blown away if Canon did do, and I know there's rumors about this, like a full frame mirrorless camera that could still use their E-mount, their EF class at like 99% of their ability. That would really make me second guess Sony. Not gonna lie. I'm just gonna be blunt about that. If Canon released a solid, if they could push out a mirrorless camera at almost at the same level as Sony, I would be at a standstill right now. I would really be reconsidering some things, possibly, but I doubt it. You know what I mean by that? But I don't know, let me know what you think about that. What if that happens? Or even Nikon, I guess, because Nick was bringing that up. Michael Mistro, hey, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Did you know that the FE 1.5 and 2x work with the 18-105 G lens? It's the only other lens it works on. Are you serious, Michael? I don't have the 18-105 with me here. I did not know that. I have to try that when I get home. Because the stinking these adapters, the teleconverters, they don't work on any other lens from what I understood. But if they got it to work on the 18... Oh, you meant the 18-110. Shoot, I thought you said the 18-105. I did not know that. I do have the 1.5 converter, Michael. I do have that. Steve, thanks for the YouTube advice. Do you follow any of the big bloggers, Ben Brown, John Olson, Fun for Louie, etc.? I don't, actually, Steve. I don't. There was a funny one. I kind of saw a little bit of like Casey's, some of his videos, because he was starting to use like the Sony cameras, and I noticed he's had a lot of out of focus videos. Someone said he should watch my tutorial video. Nick Sedan says, it's been the angry photographer guy. I know he's controversial, but he seems to have translated some Nikon press release and posted a video saying he predicted it. Got it. Nick. Angry photographer was really smart about his YouTube channel. And, I mean, it was crazy what he was able to do. He was pushing out videos after videos after videos on a constant basis. And he's honestly, I would consider one of the bigger YouTube channels out there, even though people may not think that. But it was that whole controversy with Jason Lanier early on. I thought that was just interesting and hilarious. I was just kind of laughing on the background about it, but really smart moves on his end. I don't know if he ever monetized his videos, because if he monetized his videos, he'd be making some really big money with his channel. Sam says, will Sony buy Nikon to take them out of business in 2 to 3 or 5 years? I'm guessing. Oh, 3 to 5 years. For the Glass, maybe? But Sony already has their stuff, like Zeiss and stuff. I don't think they will. Shade says, have you heard about the new Sigma lenses? They look amazing. I was watching an Instagram live feed from Jason Vong, because he's in Japan, at CP Plus. I don't know if that's still going on, if it still is. But yeah, I'm very interested. I think I'm gonna pick up the 135 f1.8. I think I might. I don't have the Canon one, that's why. Dempa says, judging by that practice Premiere effects file on the desktop, Danny's aiming for some of his own high quality. That's for my classes. Nick Sedon, I agree with you on Canon mirrorless. If they match up to an a7R3, then I would be really tearing my hair out decision-wise long term. I'm mad at Canon, because Canon's like they're not pushing the envelope a little more than I would like. But if all of a sudden, like tomorrow, boom, Canon 5D mirrorless or something like that. Holy smokes, man. That would just like change the game. Change the game. Because there's so many benefits to the mirrorless system, and I never got to try the is it the M9? The EOS M9? EM10? I don't remember the name. I wanted to try it, but I bought the a6500 instead. Rashab says, Nikon's high-end cameras use Sony sensors according to some sources. Yeah, that's true. They do use Sony sensors. But I don't think they really need to buy Nikon, because Sony's they're doing pretty good. The dog photographer says, have you ever taken a lens apart to fix it? I'm currently fixing my a6000 kit lens, as I use that setup for vlogging. Well, I've just finished my first ever. I have opened, well, actually I didn't. Well, my brother helped me out with it. I had a nifty 50, the Canon one that broke. I bought the gear pieces for it, and we were able to fix it. So that's about as far as I've ever done that. I'm still looking to open up my a6000 and do that overheating thing, but I think I'm going to do that closer to the summertime. I'm going to open up the a6000 and try to resolve the overheating problem with it. High Quality Edit says, why is the Sony 16-35 so high priced? The price is the same as the a6500. I'm guessing you're talking about the F4, right? High Quality Edits. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. That's a tough one. It's just their pricing system that they have going. I think there's a baseball game going on in a couple of hours. I was contemplating on going or not. I'm not sure. I was gonna test out the 55, do some more tests with the 55-10 and shoot with the Sony a6000. But I don't want to drive like another hour to get to the game. Steve says, I sent a 70-300 to be fixed. They replaced the front element. When I got it back, it was dustier than Mary Poppins' chimney. Are you serious? That's horrible. Steve, you're in pro support, I'm guessing, right, Steve? I'd be really pissed if that happened. Yeah, high quality. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Man, that doesn't bode too well for Sony. But I've yet to have a major problem, though, with any Sony equipment up to this point. So yeah, while we're still here, I guess I'll just share another story for those of you curious about it. So I mentioned this before, but I didn't really go into too much detail. I had, let me jump to, so I had my A7R2. This, like I said, this is my second A7R2. But I only have one. I sold the other one, but I was shooting like this, like short film, a short skit, I guess. And I had the Sigma 35 1.4 on this thing. And I had the Rode microphone plugged in. And I guess it's more of a cautionary tale. I had this, and then I had the lens, you know, the Sigma 35 on here. And I had the battery grip. I had it on a table, and the strap, I hate this strap. It was on a table. I set it down. I picked up the camera. It grabbed the edge of the table, and my hand slipped, and the camera fell to the ground, like, boom. Now, it didn't break. The lens was perfectly fine, but what ended up happening was, and I don't know if this camera will do it or not, but the jack right here, it landed, this took the brute force right here on the audio jack right there. And so it hit it really hard, whoop, and it left a mark, a dent, and it loosened the audio port on the actual microphone. And after that, the camera would no longer record audio at all. And I tried all kinds of things. I ended up buying the XLR. I don't know if you saw my Sony Alpha 6500 or 6300, 6500 with the 18 to 35 video. That was the reason why I bought the XLR K2M, was because I was trying to see if the Sony A7R2 would still record audio. And I was like, okay, I'll try, it doesn't do internal audio. I bought the XLR K2M and I mounted it on top of the Sony camera. It still would not record audio. And I was like, crap, I don't want to open up and try to fix it myself. And I was like, man, I could send it in. It's not under warranty because it's gray market. So I said, I might as well just put it up on the market to sell. So I sold it, saying that it still worked just fine, and I explained it. And it just still takes pictures, still records video. It just doesn't record audio. And somebody bought it, still bought the camera. And as soon as they bought it, I went and picked up another A7R2 to replace it. So I probably lost, I don't know, after the whole transaction, maybe a couple $100 US with the transactions. So that wasn't too bad in terms of overall cost on my end. All right, let's see. I'm probably gonna give this stream maybe about 10 more minutes. Sam says, I broke my A7R2 LCD. Took me 3 weeks to get it fixed here in Norway. No pro support here in Norway. That sucks, man. Michael Mistro says, what do you think about the new Fujinon? Let me go ahead and pull up another screen here. Sorry, man. I'm still learning how to get this OBS software. Again, I apologize for this kind of whacked out stream, but I'm learning. I'm learning as quickly as I can. Michael says, what do you think about the new Fujinon Cinelens? The 18 to 55 2.9. It looks nice. I saw it. It just didn't pique my interest because I'm not the particular customer they're after, Michael. So I don't really have a major input for it. If I was that customer, if I was the person they were like going after for that, then I would definitely keep it on my radar. Steve, aren't you still in the mall? You're still on this live stream, man. You're so awesome. Steve says, hopefully coming soon. It was just German and Austria, but last year they added France and UK. Nice. High quality, Ed says, is it safe to buy extra batteries for the 6500 from RavPower or Wasabi? I would go with Wasabi. I don't know. I just get this vibe that the RavPower batteries aren't as good. That's the vibe I get. I do like their charger because it's flat, but I don't know. I just get the vibe that their RavPower batteries just might not be good. Oh, here's why. I had RavPower batteries inside of my A7R2. It didn't recognize both of the batteries. That's the reason why I was kind of iffy about the RavPower batteries. The Wasabis have been fine. But I plugged it into my A7R2 and I got something saying it's incorrect battery or something like that. Some sort of warning. Nick Sedon, has anyone tried the 1.4 and 2 extenders on the 7200 f4? Nick, it does not work. I tried. I'm so sorry, man. This little like plug on here just gets in the way. This like end thing. It just won't work. Sorry, Nick. Rashab says, if I had an A7R2 and my camera fell, I would have died before it reached the ground. You know what's crazy? I'll give you another story. So back then, maybe about 5 years ago, I got the Canon 7D, and I had the Canon 24-70. I just got it, the Canon 24-70. Good thing so I was taking some photos. I had my bag somewhere on the side, and my bag wasn't closed completely, right? It wasn't closed completely. The camera was in there, I think. And I went to go do something, and some of the students wanted to help get the bag. They picked up the bag, and then the camera and the lens. My heart stopped, right? So this is like 5 years ago. So it was in a bag. It's like that one flap Canon bag. It was in the bag. The camera was in there. I didn't lock it. I didn't lock the clips. They pick up the bag, the top part. They pick it up, and the camera rolls out of the bag, maybe 5 or 6 feet. This is on, and there's concrete, by the way, underneath it. The camera has a 7D and it has these 24-70 attachments, and I just got it. It falls out, and my heart stopped. I was looking. I said, no. And it fell to the ground. It bounced. The hood was pretty beefy. And I was just, my heart just had stopped. My heart just stopped. I still have the 24-70 till this day. It was fine. Rishav says he only has a D3200. It's not a bad camera, the 3200. Really good image quality. I've had it before, but then I sold it. Misa, yeah, the teleconverter just doesn't work on 7200s. Shades, is it just me, or do you find your A7R2 strap clips annoying as they make a rattling noise to be picked up on the mic? It's never bothered me too much, but you can take them off, right? I think you can. It's never really bothered me. Yeah, Nick, they don't work, unfortunately, unless there's a hack to it. Sam says, I got a nice boost on my Instagram during this live stream. Thanks. Glad that helped you. Sam is everywhere. SPDTDL. Every time I see your like user icon, man, you are everywhere, man. Sam says, I had insurance. That's awesome. Andreas Widmer, can you give some advice on getting fast and affordable Canon full frame lenses for the MC11 A7 II combo? What do you shoot, Andreas? I'm a big person. I like going with eBay. I like going with Canon, Canon Digital Photography Forum. I like buying used gear for Canon stuff. That's my opinion. It's the cheapest. And going on eBay, trying to find some good deals. I just don't know what you shoot to help you out too much. High quality. Most of your cameras have been fallen. Oh, man. Hey, you know what's another thing while we're talking about it right now? The one thing I get really iffy about with my Sony cameras is when I'm out shooting and I gotta change lenses. I hate changing lenses on my Sony cameras. I hate it because sometimes I'll be in my bag and I will just quickly see here. I take the lens out, and I do it a lot because I'm testing gear. So I'll just like I'll take the cap off, and the sensor is just exposed. It freaks me out because I just don't want anything falling in there. Man. But with my Canon gear, it's never a problem. My a7R2 will not recognize the Metabones Mark IV adapter. It's my third one. Greg, I wish I had an answer for you. I don't have one though. I've not tried the Metabone Speed Booster. I've not tried it. Nick says, if anyone wants to check out kind of shots you can get with the Sigma MC11 adapter, search for nick.acedon. Might be good for sports as well. I haven't tried that 150 to 600, Nick, but I mean the MC11 will work with the Sigma 120-300. It's just you got to time those shots more. It's not I just don't feel very confident with it. Ever tried low-key portraits for shop? Says no, I have not, unfortunately. Andreas, mainly events, portraits, but not willing to pay for a 2470 f2. I don't know why that sad face just makes me laugh. Andreas, I was wondering, why don't you just stick with Canon? Andreas, you can get the 24. I mean, I don't know what's a budget for you, right? I don't know what's the budget that works for you, but I picked up the 7200 Sigma f2.8, the newer, not the old one, the one with stabilization. I got it for like $650 used, and it works fine. $650 for a 7200. And then the 2470, you can probably still get the first gen Canon one that's still good for around $600-700. So about $1,400-1,500, you can have a 2470 and a 70-200 2.8 lenses. There's also like Tamron and stuff like that. But since you're doing events and portraits, why not just stay with Canon, Andreas, while you're still trying to build funds? And once you have the funds, you can sell the lenses you got and go to Sony later. That's just my recommendation. Shade says, do you recommend any good camera accessories or gadgets? What gadgets do I use? Just the small rig cages. The small rig cages. Shade says, do you... okay. Steve says, I made a video about changing lenses and I got loads of comments slagging me off, but I put the camera in one of them clear plastic bags. I've been dust free for months now. That's good advice with the bag and stuff. It's just that I'm not the most careful with my gear. I try to be careful with my gear, but when I'm shooting events or I'm at a sporting event, I gotta get the gear quick. I always feel that sense of urgency. So sometimes I'll end up putting my cameras and stuff in, like on the floor or someplace where it might be dusty. It's just that itch that I have. It's just the Sony stuff just makes me slow down more. But that's really great advice though with the bag. Why do you think that Sony didn't give you an option to leave the shutter down to protect the sensor? Not sure. That's an interesting question. High Quality Ed's giving a shout out to someone on Instagram. Check him out for videography. K2 says sensors are protected with some tough glass. Shutter will break with a hair. Interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Again, thank you everyone that's on this live stream. It's been on this live stream for this long. Rashab says the Tamron 70 with 200 2.8 non-VC costs half of what the same lens with VC does. I don't like that Tamron non-VC, man. It broke. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that non-VC one. It's good, but I just not a fan of it. Andreas Widmer, as far as like adapting stuff, if you're shooting portraits, like non-moving subjects, you can use the MC11. For example, I've used the MC11 adapter with the Sigma 7200 2.8. It works fine. But if the subject moves, you're in trouble. So, you know, even the A7 II would work fine. The A7 II's autofocus is not bad either. It's just you don't. The other issue is you don't have all those special you don't have all those special features with a native lens. Sony lenses like lock on AF or something like that. It doesn't work as well. I forget, it's like phase detect versus contrast detect. You lose one of those. I think it goes back to just contrast detect or something. Someone can let me know. K2 says, tell Tyler to eat his taco. I don't know what that's about. High quality. I says, no, man, it's not a shout. I just watch his videos. Thanks for that. Okay. Shade says, have you ever had a chance to use a red camera? No, I have not used a red camera. I don't even know if it even makes, like, if I'd even be interested in it personally because of all the things you have to do to get the red camera to work. And again, I'm not in that particular industry that needs it, so it's not like I'm itching for it. But it'd be cool just to try it. I just don't know if I'd be willing to work around it. Alex asks, have you ever used borrow lenses or lens rental? I have not. But if you're out there, borrow lenses and lens rental, and you'd like to sponsor me, let me know. And I'd really appreciate it. So I can try out some equipment and not have to always buy them myself. But I haven't used borrow lens or lens rental, Alex. Here's the thing about me and equipment. I like to hold on to the gear for a while to try it out, and then I sell it. That's just how I operate. If I rent, let's say I rent from a lens rental service, I have to use it for a certain short period of time. And I figure, for example, let's say, for example, I wanted to test a new Sigma 85 art lens, right? That's what, 1200 or something like that? So if I was going to rent it out from like borrow lenses or lens rental, I'm just giving you an example. I mean, if I wanted to rent it out for a month, that lens would cost me quite a bit, right? And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I could probably still sell the lens and save money than if I just rented the lens out for that length of time. Yeah, that's just my thing on that. He is the high quality. He's the first one who got the Hasselblad X1D50C medium format mirrorless digital camera. Man, that's one sexy camera. That's a very interesting camera. Is that mirrorless medium format? Shop says Oscars tomorrow. I wonder what cameras they use when the paparazzis are out there. I always see Canon cameras. Folks, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. I think it's gone long enough and I need to go use the restroom. Everybody out there, thank you again so much for being on this live stream. If you could give it a like, that'd be really great. You don't have to. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for being on the stream on a Saturday at this odd time for everybody out there. And thank you again for all the questions and feedback. I think I might do another live stream. I'll try to definitely plan it out. I'm just having issues getting my stream set up. But thanks again, guys. Thanks everyone for being out there on the stream. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being awesome. See you on the next stream. Were you waiting in the mall for the stream to end, Steve? I'll see you guys later. Yeah, I think I'll have another stream on Saturday. I will go ahead and post and schedule the event. Steve, you're everywhere. Yeah, I'll think I'll set up another one next week ahead of time. All right, everybody. Bye. It's gonna be an awkward moment. I end the stream and it's still me talking. Stop.